Good morning once again. Obviously, the question is, what is SQL? What is it, Ashwin? Why we used SQL?
Oh no.
You don't know what is SQL?
MySQL.
SQL. You don't know. So last year in your answer sheet, I saw the answer of SQL. How it is? Huh? Huh? Rechecking is required. Aditya Raj, what is SQL?
Name structured query language.
Okay, structure query. The first chapter we have studied DBMS concepts, isn't it? Next topic is, we are going to study about SQL. So what is this structured query language? Is it like a communication language like Chinese, Malayalam, English? What is this language, Aditya Raj? Because Ashwin doesn't know what is this SQL. So,
And this language is used in MySQL, like DBMS software,
yes.
to update
It is,
data,
yes,
etc.
yes, very good. So it is Ashwin. Ashwin. Ashwin, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, for you. Structured query language is again a language, but it's not for communicating between human beings. It is used for communicating. It is a language used by the DBMS softwares, database management system softwares. It's a standard language. Okay. Without the SQL, you can't write any coding in database management system softwares. Okay. Okay, then we have studied what is SQL, then the different types of categories of SQL. Do you remember, Achut? Categories of SQL.
I think I forgot.
You think you forgot. Let me give you a clue. D, D, L, D, M, L.
Can I check my notes?
Yes, of course. I think by mistake I entered the meeting. Then tell me.
DDL.
Ah.
Data definition language.
Ah.
It is used to give commands like create or touch row.
Mm.
Then DML stands for data manipulation language.
Mm.
You can manipulate the data.
Mm. Okay. Then
TCL is transaction control language.
Mm. Then
Follows acid property, atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability.
mm.
Only commands can be connected and rolled back.
Okay. So
Then
very good.
the
T
that
TCL.
language.
Okay, very good. So these are the different skill categories we have studied already. Now I hope you can see the shared screen. Are you able to see? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So here the topic SQL. So it is that's again for Ashwin who doesn't know about SQL. So you have to study SQL is an acronym. So even though you have studied this topic last year, so you have to study it again because for your board examination you will be getting a 20 mark distribution is there from this particular unit. So you have to study it properly. So you can take your notebook and mark the important points. Okay. The first point is it's a structured query language. Then it is a standard language. So that is the next point. The question is asked, what is SQL? You need to answer. It's just acronym of structured query language. It is a standard language developed and used for accessing and modifying relational databases. So you know that there are now different types of databases. That is, one is object oriented model, then one is network model, isn't it? I have told you the last previous chapter it was there, but only this particular language is used only in only in Atul, only in what kind of databases?
Relational databases.
Relational databases where you store the data in the form of rows and columns. So that is very important point. So that also you just mark, and this is development, don't have to worry about it. And in which all database management softwares it used in almost all the database management systems like MySQL, PostgreSQL, Oracle, SQLite, SQL Server, Microsoft Access. All these softwares, application softwares, use SQL as their standard language. Then what is the advantage of the standard language? High speed, no coding needed. No coding needed means using a simple lines you can write the code. It's not like any Python language or C++ language where you need to write lots of codes. Well-defined standards means if you want to write a query, so that standard is used everywhere. Portability, it will work in all the operating systems. Interactive language, if you write select star from EMP, that time itself we are getting the result. So that is what interactive language. Multiple data view means when you can create view. That is, even though you are in the table consists of the original data consists of a student table, if you want to view the details of students whose mark is less than 450, then you will get a different view, isn't it? Your result is different. And somebody is creating a view where you have uh, the name is starting with letter A. So that is a different view. But everything is coming from the same table. Hope you understood. Respond, children. Okay. So that points you need to mark. I mean, you have to study what are the different advantages. Once it is over, just tell me. So I can go to the next slide. Is it coming in the full screen in your device?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, but your video is off.
Video. That is because I'm using a mobile device. So automatically the video will be off. Is it over?
Yes, ma'am.
Then what we are going to concentrate on, which software? That's MySQL. You're going to study MySQL. So what is MySQL? As a multi-user, you don't have to worry about a multi-thread database. It's a very popular. Okay, it's very popular and it is an open source database software. That is, if you go to the site and you can see the codes, how it is written. The source code is open. The developed coding is open. Okay. You didn't enter the waiting room. Okay. That is a speciality of MySQL. And is developed by, who's that? Monty, and the year is 1995. Okay. That's all you need to write in your book. What is it? It's an open source database. So, and the picture that we have studied last year, it's a dolphin. Okay.
We just need to learn Monty.
I'll get you once again.
And should we just learn the name Monty or the full name?
That's all. That's all. That is for your information, actually. Won't be any question who developed. Maybe in the practical examination, Viva can be asked. But in the theory examination, they won't ask. Okay. This also we have studied last year. What are the different MySQL features? Mainly open source and free of cost. That's the main point for you to write. Portability. It will work in all the types of operating system. It has security. So those who install the MySQL, you know that you can give a password, isn't it? You have given a password to work with MySQL. So security. Connectivity. So you can connect. For you, you have to study the connectivity between MySQL and Python. So you can connect MySQL with most of the programming languages. That is what it is, connectivity. What is this API? Hmm? Um, what is this one? What is this API? Application Programmable Interface. So write down application programmable interface. That is, if you want to connect MySQL with Python, you need to download something from the MySQL site. That is a MySQL connectivity thing. You need to connector, you need to download. Only then you can connect. So many APIs are developed. If you want to connect your MySQL with some other programming languages, then that programming languages application programmer interface for downloading is available. So that's why all these things are developed in order to connect MySQL with. You can connect MySQL with Visual Basic, VB software. You can connect with VB.NET, Visual C++. So many programming supports will be available. And the last point is the last feature of MySQL is structured query language support. It supports the standard. It follows the standard query language SQL. So, Emmanuel, who developed MySQL?
Michael or Monty.
Oh, study the full form. What is the short form? No. Okay, the short form was Monty. Okay. And then year, Emmanuel?
19
90,
90.
1995. Very near. Okay. What is this MySQL? What is the speciality of MySQL? The question to audience.
Advantage.
Anything you can say. What is this MySQL? What is the main point?
It is open source.
What is it? It is a RDBMS software. That is the first thing. Relational Database Management System software it is. Then the second point you can say as open source and free software. Okay. Then if the question is for 3 marks, then the next question, next point can be portable. It is portable. If interface features, you can connect connectivity feature, SQL support, many other things you can add. Okay. Then next thing we will see what is this SQL categories and all. So let's see that thing. What is wonderful? It is okay. Hope you can see it now. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the SQL category is the next one. The first one, as Akshut said, that is first one is DDL, data definition language. The different types of commands under DDL are create, alter, drop, etc. So note down. It's a very important topic for you. Types of SQL commands, or the heading as SQL categories. Create, alter, drop. And here one extra classification is given, that is DQL. So normally in all other documentations we can see select query is coming under the under DML. Here select query is defined under a different category. So you can study this or you can study that. It's okay. Basically in all other textbooks and all, just given DDL, DML, DZL, and TCL. Okay. So when you write, you can cut this DQL and you can write the select query under DML. Okay. So the first one is DDL, data definition language, to create database and table structure commands like create, alter, drop. Then comes DML, that is what are the different operations done on data. Insert, delete, update, select, etc. Then DCL, it's giving permissions or access rights. Grant, revoke. Two commands are there. Then TCL, commit, rollback, save point. 3 commands. Note down all these points. Is it over? Just write the full form. What is DDL? The full form. Then what is the use of it? What's the use of it? And one or two examples. Then DML. What is it? Why it is coming under DML? Why it is called DML statements? Then uh, one or two examples. Then DCL. Then TCL. Since you studied last year, that's why I'm not explaining to you again. Yeah, any doubts in these, you can ask me. Otherwise, we'll continue with the next slide. These are theory topics. The next thing will be your programs, SQL queries will be study. So don't miss the classes. It's very, very, very important. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the MySQL data types you need to study. So when you used to create the table, you have to create the table. A format is there for creating the table. So if you want to create a table, you have to specify which data type. Roll number, what is the data type? Name, what is the data type? So in the same way you use in Python, we can use different data types here. So different categories again that we have learned last year: numeric, string, and date. These are the three major data types. A numeric you studied int, or you can write as integer. So you don't have to write all these things. You can write numeric data types int. So write down numeric data types. Under numeric, the first numeric data type is int or integer to store integer values, that is whole numbers, can be positive or negative. Range is not required. Then the next one is you can write float. Float is a data type. Float. Float. And it supports floating point numbers, decimal points. You don't have to write the brackets. Nothing is required in the bracket. The third data type is decimal. So when you write decimal, what do you need to write is you need to write inside the bracket what is the number of digits, integer part, comma, decimal parts. If you write decimal in bracket 2,2, what is the meaning, Gauri? Decimal in bracket 2,2.
2.2.
2.
2.2.
What is the meaning of 2.2? The left 2. What's the meaning? The first 2. No. Not 2.2, 2,2. It supports 2 whole part. That is 2 integer part and 2 decimal parts. That is the meaning of 2,2. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Aryan, what's the meaning? 3,5. Aryan. Srihari. Srihari.
Ma'am, which one are you asking?
Hmm?
Or which one are you asking?
I didn't get you. What are you saying?
Oh, which one? What's the question?
Where were you?
No, I didn't
Where were
understand what you're saying.
The question is, say for example, decimal in bracket 3,5. What's the meaning? If you write decimal in bracket 3,5.
I don't know, ma'am.
Achyut,
Ma'am, 5,0 in bracket.
decimal in bracket 3,5.
Ma'am,
And 3
3.2, 3.2.
3 integer parts and 5 decimal parts. So I was just explaining, like I was thinking that I covered these all topics in 11th standard, so I thought you'll be knowing it. That's why I was not explaining it in detail. But now I understood. Srihari, listen. Ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So decimal is a data type in MySQL. If you want to store the details of, say for example, your percentage. Okay, percentage always consists of a point value. Suppose 36.75 or your mark. So you can't neglect the decimal parts. Okay, 36.5 means you got the mark 36.5. It's not 36, it's not 37, 36.5. In that case, if you want to store this data into your database MySQL, you can't write, while creating the table, you can't write the data type as int. Why we can't write? When you write int, it supports only whole numbers. Okay, even if you enter 36.5, it will save only 36 because it's integer. In that case, you have two options. Either you write the data type as float. Okay, then it supports any decimal points and any integer points. If you want to save memory, then you can write another data type, that is decimal. So write mark space decimal in bracket 2 comma 3. If you write what's the meaning 2 comma 3, you can enter maximum 2 digits as integer part and maximum 3 digits in decimal part. Clear, Srihari?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's the meaning. So it won't there won't be any wastage of memory because you have written only 2 comma 3. So only that much memory will be allocated in the hard disk. Now next, if we want to store the name of the student or the employee name or the address, then we need to use another data type which is coming under string category. One is char, or next is varchar. Char means character, varchar means, what is the full form of varchar, Dia? Do you remember?
Variable character.
Variable character. So char in bracket 30 means it supports 30 characters. One character, suppose A, one character needs 1 byte of memory storage. So char 30 means 30 characters maximum. If it's an address, 30 characters or 100 we will write. And uh, it does not use square bracket. MySQL or SQL, any SQL coding use only round brackets, or it is called as parenthesis. Okay, and varchar is variable character. And what is the advantage of varchar when you compare it with char? Who can say? No idea.
Number of character is not fixed means.
Yes. If number of character is not fixed, that is, if you write, now listen, everyone. Okay. There is a difference between char and varchar. Okay. Are you listening? Why no response?
Yes, ma'am.
In your class, suppose you are creating a table and you're writing name char in bracket 30, and the value entered by one student was entered the name as Achyut. So how many bytes should be used, Achyut? to store, Achyut? How many bytes?
6 bits.
6 bytes. So what is the memory we allocated? 30.
30 bytes.
So what is the wastage? Amount of wastage of memory?
24.
24. That's 24. Okay. Suppose instead of char, the time of creation you created with varchar in bracket 30. The same value entered, that is Achyut. So what happens in this case?
No space is lost.
Yes, 30 in bracket 30 we have given, but entered only Achyut, so only 6 characters are required. So the remaining 14 bytes will be freed from the memory. So no wastage. So one is fixed storage, the next one is varied storage. So based on the length of the character, the memory will be freed. So that is the difference between char and varchar. Since this operation should be done, the freeing and all, finding the total length and freeing of memory, this varchar is a little bit slower than char. That is the next speciality. So the question is, what is the difference between char and varchar? The first thing you need to write, one is the full form of char and full form of varchar, and the advantage. You can explain with an example. And the next point you can write as one is slow and the one is fast. When you compare both, clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Since I'm using this mobile, everybody is not visible. Aryan, turn on your video. Aryan. Okay. Next data type, the last data type is date. So what is the use of date? Ashwin? Date. Don't think about this ing. What is date? Ashwin,
Yes,
what is
ma'am.
date? What is the use of date data type?
I forgot.
Hello, date data type. You're not concentrating in the class. Okay, the date data type is used to enter the date. Okay, and the format of date is, what's the format of date? Year, month, day. Year, month, and day. Write down. It is developed in US, so it follows that method. Okay. Anyways, you'll get more time. Any problem is there if 15 minutes increase to 20 minutes? No, right? No. Okay. So date is used to enter the date. So what are the different data types? Krishnandran, where were you last day? And see you.
Outside, ma'am.
Okay. And now you tell me what are the different data types available in MySQL?
Decimal, int, float,
Int, float, yes.
date, data type,
Then one more.
numeric, string,
String. Which are the string data types?
quarks.
Once again, say the name. var. After that, var.
Characters.
Varchar. So, Srihari. Srihari, turn on your video. Srihari. Now you tell me, what is the difference between char and varchar?
Char is fixed length of characters. Varchar is no fixed length of characters. Char uses more memory space, and Varchar uses less memory space. And char is faster and Varchar is slower.
Okay, very, very good. Okay. Then, what is the format of date? Data type, Arjun?
Year, month, day.
Year, month, and date.
Day.
So you need to follow the same rule. Otherwise, it will generate error while creating table. Okay, while inserting the values. Okay. So stopping now. We'll see in the next class. Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.